So many of us are finding ourselves in a funk with, of course, this COVID-19 thing happening, that we're stuck in a rut and we can't seem to get out of the funk. So I have invited Arie Rose to help us kind of get out of the funk. Hi, Arie. Nice to have you with us.
Hi, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Yes, we all need to snap out of this funk we've been in this year.
I know you actually wrote a book. It's called, Fight the Funk and Slay in Every Way. I like the title.
Thank you. Absolutely.
How do we fight the funk?
You know, I think the first thing you have to do is really look in the mirror and hold yourself accountable. Because once we start falling in a funk, it's almost like we go down that rabbit hole and we start feeling sorry for ourselves and the pity party never ends and woe is me. And you have to look in the mirror and say, okay, am I dragging this on? Is there something I'm missing? Am I just being lazy, or am I really being unmotivated? Is life happening to me? Like, we got to have that serious talk with ourselves to snap out of this funk.
Yeah, it's interesting because I consider myself a fairly stable person, somewhat successful, happy most of the time, but I have caught myself getting in and out of these funky places because, of course, being cooped up in your house is not a good thing, but you mentally don't even see it coming, and all of a sudden you find yourself not depressed, but kind of in a place where you can't move forward, and you seem to be going backwards, and you can't catch up with it. I mean, is this what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's what I call a funk. Funk is those things that happen, the speed bumps that come at you throughout your life. Yeah. I don't like to call it a depression because depression's that, there's so many other moving factors to it. But they're funks. It's like that space where it's the uncertainty, the anxiety might kick in here and there. You're kind of looking for a sign. You're like, I need a little clue here, God, like what's going on? Yeah. And so that's what I call a funk, where it's like you kind of have to hold yourself accountable and figure out, what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Is there something I'm not doing? Or is it really life coming at me this way? You have to be honest with yourself and call yourself out on some stuff, because a lot of times it's as simple as, I'm going to wake up an hour earlier and set my intentions and go for a jog, put on my favorite music, instead of allowing yourself to sulk in this funk.
Yeah. Now, people would look at you and go, of course, she's there. She is preaching to me like, she's perfect. She's got a perfect life. Everything's perfect with her. She's perfect. How dare she talk to me this way? I mean, tell me a little bit about yourself and your life and what you've had to go through to get you to this point.
You know what? Even right now, I still go through funks myself. Funks are inevitable. It's kind of like COVID, right? It doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're healthy or well, whatever it is, like, it can hit you. We're all human. It's part of human nature. Life happens, but it's how we react to the events that happen to us that really determine how we're going to move on throughout the day. So back in 2017, I had the perfect job, the dream job I had worked for, that I went to school for, that I interned for and waitressed late nights just so I could get through college. And one day they tell me we went bankrupt and I lost my job.
Oh.
And so you can imagine the funk I got into. And so I had to tell myself, what if I can learn how to fight this funk and help other people, I can get past it. And so that's how I wrote the book, Fight the Funk, because I had to check myself and say, am I doing this? Am I around bad people? Am I listening to music that isn't really uplifting? Am I watching shows that aren't spiritually, fueling my soul and my spirit? Mm-hmm. So it's all those little things that you have to take into account and really analyze, because all of that impacts our mood.
Yeah. And what's amazing to me is, as I look at you, and I've read an awful lot about you and seen some of your appearances on TV, you've got this slay attitude, like you are going to slay the dragon every single day. And you almost have to do that. And you've taken that message across the country to a sold out audience who want to listen to you. And it's not just women.
You're right. Because again, it hits everybody. It's not just women that get funks. It's men that get funks. We're always trying to figure that out. And the most important thing to remember is we have to really work on ourselves. And I think that's why COVID got a lot of people, because we're so busy being at events and hanging out with friends. All of a sudden we got stripped from that, and we had to deal with our own selves, and we didn't know what to do.
So you take this Sip and Slay that you have these events, right, that are so cool. Tell me about what we can expect if we go to an event where you're there.
So Sip and Slay events, I created them because I wanted to teach women that the social media era made us believe that it was about looks and slaying your contour and your makeup and the appearance. on social media. And then people forgot, do you know how to build a resume? Do you know how to network? Do you know how to pray for your husband? Do you know how to hold a household? Do you know how to cook, dinners? Mm-hmm. And we forgot about the basics. So that's why it's called Slay in Every Way. So these Sip and Slay events, I bring women that in different cities are powerhouse women with businesses, chefs, doctors, and we have those open communications to teach these women and remind them of the basics of what Slay really means as being a whole woman, well-rounded, not just about looks on the outside.
Yeah, it's interesting that those Sip and Slays are geared to women, but on Instagram, you have 83,000 Instagram followers, 42% women followers, 58% men followers. So the men are getting your message.
Right. And they're the ones that will message me and say, I bought your book for my mom. I bought your book for my sister. I signed up my girlfriend for your coaching program. What about the men? And it's like, I never intended to leave the men out. My book is not women-based. It's just the following, the women. I've just become a big sister to all these women across the nation. It's not my fault.
Well, Arie Rose, you're an inspiration and a delight. It's such a pleasure to talk with you. Again, the book is called Fight the Funk and Slay in Every Way, How to Live a More Authentic Life. Arie, what a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me today.